All right, here we go, dudes and girls. Phase 1 of the 12-week plan, Gym Edition. It's going to be covering weeks 1 through 3. If you haven't had a chance, please check the description of this video. You can download a copy or view the PDF. It's got everything you need to get started, a frequently asked questions, and much, much more. We highly recommend you check that out before beginning this plan. And also, if you don't have access to a lot of the commercial items, exercise machines in a commercial gym, you can always use our home edition as well, which we'll be providing throughout the duration of this plan as well. This first phase is going to cover the complete body, so you're working the whole body one time in each workout, and then that's going to be 3 days a week for 3 weeks. That's the first phase. It's really just kind of warming you up, getting you used to the big compound movements, and just really covering the bare essentials, pretty much the golden 5, which is going to be squats, deadlifts, bench press, pull-ups, so on, overhead press. So just covering all that. It's going to be 3 days a week. It's good because it's adjustable too, so it's not like you have to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You can do it any kind of day, whatever fits your schedule. And then it's going to move on from there, each phase, and just get harder and harder. So here we go. It's 5:30 in the morning. We're at the gym. We're ready to do this. We hope you are too. Let's get started. First exercise on the list, of course, is going to be squats. Number one exercise you want to include for any kind of program, especially if you're doing full body and or legs, of course. This is an excellent exercise, huge compound movement, so that's why we're starting this workout off with the squats. 5 sets. It's going to be pyramiding down in repetitions and up in weight.
And remember, in addition to finding the 12-week plan at our website, www.buffdudes.us, you can also follow along on our blog as we complete each day of the 12-week plan as well. Do it.
Next, we're going to move on to the bent over rows, one of the best compound movements for the back. So what you want to do is push those hips back, bend over, bowing towards the floor, so your chest can be facing the floor. And you want that bar located over your feet, so that way you get a good center of gravity. If the bar is pulling too far away from you, it's gonna pull your center of gravity away from you, throw you off balance, and pull a little bit too much on that lower back. So what you want to do is pull those elbows nice and high, up to the stomach, get a good squeeze in the lats, and then bring it down to the bottom position. It's gonna be 5 sets as well, pyramiding down in repetitions and up in weight. Overhead press, 5 sets on this one as well, pyramiding down in repetitions and up in weight. What you really want to focus on is locking out those legs. That way you get no bounce in the legs, because then it becomes more of a push press. Not working the legs, you really want to try to concentrate on the deltoids in this one, and the grip is going to be a lot more narrow than, let's say, just a regular military press. Just about shoulder width, you're pushing straight up, bobbing your head out of the way. As soon as the bar passes your head, you're going to be pushing your head through as you lock out on the top position, squeezing those trapeziuses. That way it's going to help stabilize that shoulder joint at the top position. And this one is really going to raise that center of gravity as you bring it up to the top position, so it's going to really work the core as well. It's an excellent compound exercise for those delts. Moving on to external rotations. Now, external rotations is bringing the hand away from the body. You're externally rotating that shoulder joint, the hand away from your body, as internal rotation is bringing it towards the body, and it's working 2 different muscles. What we're doing is external rotation. It's going to really be working on the rotator cuff muscles, which is the infraspinatus and also the teres minor. These muscles are really going to help support the shoulder joint. So what we do with these is we're starting with light weight lying on the side, externally rotating. You want to keep that elbow nice and tight to your body, and really just bringing that hand away from the body, bring it all the way back, keeping the elbow tight to the body until you feel a slight burn in the back of the deltoid. That's when you really know those small muscles are working. You can't really start too heavy with this exercise. What happens is if you go too heavy, then the bigger muscles are start to take over, and then you don't get the full benefit of the exercise. So you go a little bit lighter. That way you're isolating those muscle groups of the rotator cuff to make sure they get the full benefit. They are like any other muscle, they will gain strength, so you can go up in weight eventually, but you have to work up to it, so be careful with it. So we're gonna do 3 sets of 15 reps. All right, wrapping up
this workout with mountain climbers and then planks. We're doing 3 sets of 30 seconds on both of these exercises. 2 great ab exercises to complete day 1.
Starting this workout out with the deadlift. 5 sets, pyramiding down in repetitions and up in weight. 15, 12, 10, 8, and finally ending with 6 reps. This is an excellent compound movement. It's a massive exercise. That's why we're starting the workout out with this particular exercise. It takes the most effort, the most muscle. Starting this out with the deadlifts. And what you want to do is, it's going to differ from squats because you're actually bowing forward. You're still using a lot of hip strength, but this is also working a lot in your back as well. That's why a lot of people include any kind of good back workout. But it also does the legs too. So just as much as it's a pull exercise, it's also a push, and that's what you got to think about it like, and that's going to help increase your deadlift. A lot of hip strength, so you're going to drive those hips through the top position and make sure you push them back in the bowing position to end the exercise and also start the exercise as well. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on the deadlift, we have a video specifically for that. You want the more kind of tips and also good posturing and good form and technique, and make sure you check out that video as well as all of our other single exercise tutorials if you have any questions about any kind of exercise. Landmine press, one of our favorite upper chest exercises. This is a great one. All you need is a bar, a couple of plates, get on your knees and press. What we like to do is lean forward just a little bit, clasp those hands underneath the bar, press and really squeeze at the top position. Alternating Arnold press with dumbbells, an excellent unilateral exercise for those shoulders. Great for working out any muscle imbalances. If you have one side of your body which is slightly larger than the other, which is inevitably bound to happen. Well, that's when unilateral exercises come into play and really help level that out so you're symmetrical and aesthetic. Moving on to legs with alternating front lunges, another great unilateral exercise. If you notice that muscle imbalance and you're trying to change that and bringing the other one up to speed, feel free to bust out a few extra reps on that weaker body part. So, for instance, with legs, if you're feeling that your left quad is slightly smaller than your right, feel free to hit just a few extra reps on that left side when wrapping up this exercise. Although pullovers are considered an isolation exercise, it's a great exercise for that full upper body. You're gonna feel it in the lats, serratus anterior, a little bit in the upper chest, shoulders, and some stretch in the triceps. So it's an isolation exercise because you're really only utilizing that shoulder joint throughout the motion. You want to keep the elbows slightly bent but stationary. You don't want to extend them up because that's really concentrating a little bit more on the triceps. You don't want that. You also want to get a nice stretch, bring it all the way back, keep your hips down. If your hips start lifting up through this motion, you're going to relieve a lot of the stretch that it's supposed to be having on these muscles that you're targeting. So keep the hips down, pull the weight back, get a massive stretch, deep breath, and then pull it up and over yourself, exhaling at the top position. It's gonna be 3 sets of 15 reps. Ending this workout with abs. First, we're gonna start with the weighted crunches. And just like any other muscle, if you wanna add some size and bulk and also strength to that certain muscle, you're gonna put weight on it. That's why we're doing the weighted crunches, to really make those abs pop and also gain a little bit of strength in there as well. And then we're moving on to the side planks. It's gonna be an it's going to be an isometric exercise, so you're doing a 30-second hold. Each one has 3 sets. With the weighted crunches, it's gonna be 15 reps, and with the side planks, it's going to be a 30-second hold. The front squat. Starting this workout out with the front squat, it's gonna be 5 sets, pyramiding down in repetitions and up in weight like we've been doing throughout the week on most of the big compound exercises. This exercise is really focusing on the quads, and what you want to do is get a nice wide stance and be squatting in between your legs. So rather than a regular rear-loaded squat by pushing your hips back, getting tension on the hamstrings, and then sitting back, this is more of sitting in between your legs. So it's really focusing more on the quads this way and less in the hips. You want to have the bar right at the base of the neck, and as you squat down and as you push up through the exercise to reach the top position, you're going to be leading with the elbows. That way the bar is going to stay in place a little bit more. Keep that core nice and tight to stabilize you through the motion. And that's about it. But if you do want a tutorial on this exercise, we have one. just in case you want a little bit more information on form and things like that. So as you'll notice on this program, there's actually quite a few body weight exercises, dips being one of them, as we're doing now. If you can't perform dips, feel free to use an alternate exercise, such as decline bench, or you can jump on an assisted dip machine if you need a little extra help. There's also a trick too. If your gym has some bands, like TheraBands, you can just wrap those on the bars, put your feet on them, and make your own assisted dip machine. So there's a lot of different techniques to be able to do dips. So if you don't have assisted dip machine, feel free to just do an alternate exercise such as decline bench, because it is hitting those lower fibers in the chest very much like dips. So it's a great alternate exercise. So we're doing 5 sets of dips, 15 reps.
Upright rows, 5 sets, 15, 12, 10, 8, 8. This is an excellent compound exercise for all 3 heads of the deltoids and trap activation as well. As you can see, we're just shooting on the bench. Hey, as long as you've got a barbell, you're good to go. It's a little busy in here this morning, so we couldn't find a squat rack. We're just grabbing a bench. So now you can say we're upright rowing on the bench press. Future cliche brought to you by the Buff Dudes.
All right, we're doing some glute bridges here. It's really focusing on that hip power and also the strength in the glutes. You can do it on the floor with a regular barbell, or you can grab a bench and you get a little farther range of motion because you can dip those hips really low and then press up from there. Whereas the floor, you're only coming parallel to the floor because you're lying on the floor and then extending the hips up, get a nice squeeze. Either way is pretty good. You can do it on the floor, feel free to. We're just doing this to get a little bit more range of motion in there. We're doing 3 sets of 10 repetitions on these glute bridges. Get a nice squeeze at the top. You want your feet about shoulder width, and you also want a 90-degree angle in the lower leg to the upper leg. You don't want too far out or too close. You want just that nice angle in there. That way you can push through the heels, get a nice squeeze at the top, and then drop the hips down from that position.
Standing calf raises. If you don't have a standing calf raise machine, you can do what we're doing. We're just grabbing a Smith machine. We're putting a few plates on the ground in order to get the full range of motion on that calf raise, and then we're going from there.
All right, we're ending this workout off with Russian twists. What you want to do is balance on the hips. You're going to be crunching in abdominals by flexing the spine so that way they're contracted throughout the exercise. You can do it feet on the floor or elevated. Elevated makes it a little bit more difficult because you have to stabilize the motion. You're twisting to one side, tapping on the floor, and then twisting to the next, tapping on the alternate side. You can be performing 3 sets of 30 repetitions total, which is 15 reps each side. It's a great exercise for the abdominal strength, also the stability in there, and it's really hitting that transverse abdominis too because of the twisting motion. Excellent exercise for the abdominals, and also just a little bit of the stabilizers and balance in there too.
All right, dudes and girls, that wraps up day 3 of phase 1 of the gym edition. It's pretty light, featured a lot of classic compound exercises. This phase is really just getting you into the habit of working out, getting into that routine, starting to feel good. If you feel like you're too advanced for this phase, let's say you do 1 week and you want to move on, feel free. And also, if you feel like you finish week 3 of this phase and you still need some time to get used to some of these exercises, feel free to stay with the phase for a while as too. That's totally fine. So, having said that, we will see you again in phase 2, which is going to cover weeks 4 through 6. And also, make sure and check out our home edition of phase 1 as well. All right, until next time, stay buff.